Hello, Sunshine, and welcome to a special edition of the State of the Union podcast. On this State of the Union podcast, we have a special guest. My friend, I'm proud to call her my friend. I'm proud to call her my colleague. The one, the only, the great, hey-o, Heather O'Reilly. And she is coming to us from Dublin over there in the Republic of Ireland. All right, so here's what happened. You can see her there in the vision here. So here's what happened. Heather O'Reilly, about 3 years ago, retired. Retired from soccer after an incredible career, gold medals, World Cups, incredible success at the professional level. She says, that's it. I've done all that I can. Now, Heather and I have absolutely nothing in common when it comes to winning, with all of her medals and all of her trophies and stuff like that. But one thing we do have in common is we took a sabbatical. We took a step away from the game, and then we decided we're coming back. We come to find out last Thursday that the great Heather O'Reilly has returned to the game of soccer, She has things that have been left undone. She has things to do. She has boxes to check. The great Heather O'Reilly joining us from Dublin. Heather, why are you in Dublin, Ireland?
Thanks, Lex. I can't wait to also talk about all the things that we don't have in common.
Yes.
But I'll try to focus. So, Lex, as you know, I am a passionate being. It is what has driven me in my life and my career. Sometimes it works for me. Sometimes it works against me. But it makes me who I am. And so, like you said, I hung on my boots in 2019. I feel like I was like this orange that had just been squeezed out. There was a few drops left, but I was like, you know what? There's a few drops left, but that's good because my body feels okay. My mind is good. I have this preservation of the love of the game in a good place sort of thing. But there was a few drops left. Anyways, so I had my two kids, again, check the box. And then a couple of months ago, I played in Soccer Aid, which for anybody that doesn't know is a big fundraiser, played in London for UNICEF. And Mr. Arsène Wenger was my manager. And we had a couple training sessions. I'm playing with like the likes of Bolt and Carly Lloyd and Shevchenko and your former teammate, colleague, employee, Robbie Keane. I'm not sure what his title would have been under you. And we're having a blast. But after one of the training sessions, Arsène was very impressed with Carly's play, by the way. But he also says, Heather, you are still very good. I am very impressed. You should still play. And I was pretty flattered. But I said, yeah, thank you. Like, still feel pretty good. Had a long career. Hung him up, but I appreciate you saying that. And he goes, well, you should still play. Why not? And I said, well, I haven't actually played in Champions League. It has been this thing that has kind of, quite frankly, pissed me off through the years. He was like, you should do it. And so it was sort of in my mind that, okay, if Arsène Wenger thinks that I still got it, maybe I still got it. And like I said, I'm a competitor. So this thing was like, I had played World Cups, Olympics. When I went over to Arsenal, they were in third the year before. So we didn't make Champions League. So when I went over there, I was a little bit bummed out that I wouldn't play Champions League football. But like you said, Alexi, I've done a lot of things. It was okay. I wasn't going to lose sleep over it. However, I did say they're not in Champions League right now, but maybe that will be a goal for me to get them back to Champions League football with my, my influence and my leadership. And then we got third again when I was there. So I feel like, I felt disappointed in that, to be honest. The last couple of months of my tenure at Arsenal were difficult for me. I feel like I was homesick for the first time in my life. Like I wasn't myself. So I left there like not content with my European journey. Came back to the NWSL and had a great year and a half, won a ton of things with North Carolina Courage. But anyways, this European dream sort of was left untied up. And then Arsène Wenger came along with that encouragement. And I said, you know what? I'm going to freaking play Champions League football. I'm going to do this. And my husband was kind of on board. He knew what he was getting when he married me. So he was kind of on board. And as you know, Alexi, we were part of this group over in Zurich and the next 90. And I'm telling everybody about these hopes and dreams of mine and playing Champions League football. And they were like, Heather, if you want to play Champions League football, you can do it. So we pulled up the UEFA website and we looked at a couple options, and here we are playing in the land of my ancestors with Shelbourne FC. So they won the Irish League last year. Obviously, the league has a ways to go to sort of meet its counterparts in England. The Irish League is essentially right now set up, from what I can see, almost like a feeder system to the FA Women's Super League right now. So if you have any dreams of going professional, you essentially go to England. But maybe by me coming here, that will change, and that's the hope.
All right. So unfinished business. I totally get that. You mentioned Shelbourne FC over there. They finished first last year. They're sitting in first right now, defending champs and into Champions League. By the way, that first Champions League possibility for you, because listen, I know you're the great Heather O'Reilly, but there's a coach and there's a team and there's an established dynamic there, and you got in as a substitute in the first game this past weekend, even though that was a loss. Like I said, this team is still in first place. Your first Champions League game will be August 18th against a team from Slovenia. All right. So I hope that you get that opportunity to check that box at that time. Was there any, and look, you mentioned your personality, and it's incredible. The competitive fire that you have, and the spirit, and the positive way you think about yourself and the world and the game is something that I love. But was there ever a part of you when you came back that said, it might not be what I think it's going to be. I might not be able to do it in the way that I want to do it or the way that I did it in the past? Or that, I mean, look, you are a older woman in the game, all right? And you're coming back and you're being dumped into a team, and team dynamics, all that. Was there any of those worries in terms of coming back?
Well, Alexi, just like yourself, I pour self-belief just out of my pores, I guess. I don't sweat. I just leak out self-belief every step of the way. So I feel like I have a good awareness of my ability, even at 37 years old. It's been a little while since I played like a full field game. There's a difference between playing five-a-side lunchtime league in Chapel Hill and playing, proper 11-a-side football. So I was interested how this first couple of practices and games are going to go. I played 30 minutes the other day. We wound up losing, which not a great start in terms of the vibe of me arriving. But what can you do? We have I just stepped off the red-eye flight the day before. So do I think that it might be I think the way you're asking me, Lex, is like, is there a chance that this is a letdown? And I think in my personal journey of being a footballer and even just a human being, like, I did have a lot of sort of anxiety towards the end of my career about like hanging my boots up. Like, I think I was, parsing that identity from being an athlete and being a player. And there was a lot of stress about, like, I don't know, I guess my life after being a footballer. And then it happened, and it was easier, I think, than I anticipated it. I think there was a lot of stress in anticipating it. And so now I feel liberated in a way, because I'm just like, I don't have to do this. Like, my life, like, I have a wonderful family. I have a career at UNC, a career obviously doing some TV work with the likes of yourself. Like, I'm getting paid zero, free 99 to come here and play. So for me, it is very liberating. That's just like, I don't need this. My career doesn't need it, but I want to, and I want to play. And it's something that I always wanted to do. And it like might seem crazy to some people. I think that it raised a lot of eyebrows in terms of, career steps and things like that. But it didn't matter to me, because this was about me, and this was about something that bothered me. Like I said, I feel like I had some unfinished business, and whether it itches the scratch, like you're saying, I don't know, but like, might as well try, and why not? And like, let's go for it.
Well, listen, I have seen firsthand, doubt Heather O'Reilly at your own peril. And, I can remember, working with you at World Cups and seeing you going out and training on parks and different places. And, if you set your mind to do something, I have no doubt that you will do it. And I think the game is better for having you back, even if it's just for a short period of time. I hope that you get to check that box. I know we don't have you for a long time, but I wanted to ask you, because one thing that you mentioned is part of this is, hopefully an ability to bring up all ships, to have an impact, whether it's with your team, whether it's with the league, and whether it's with soccer and women's soccer. We're recording this on Monday. Yesterday, we saw England with a huge win to win the European Championship and bring it home, as it were. First off, how did that resonate where you are? And more importantly, you are a product of 1999 in essence, right? And, we've seen so many comparisons and compares and contrasts, even over the last 24 hours, with what this moment is going to mean for soccer, for women's soccer, for European soccer, for European women's soccer. How did you experience that over the last 24 hours? And do you think that this is going to be the seminal moment that a lot of people think it's going to be?
I think it definitely is. And I think it'll be just like 99, whereas it's not like it was every single day. It's like it solved some huge societal problems, but it was a massive turning point. And I think that that's what I think this event will be. Do I think that there will still be, some days where there's small crowds at a WSL game and then everybody goes back and forth, like, is this the growth that we saw? I mean, there's going to be like ebbs and flows in the evolution of the game in women's soccer. But I think that this is a cultural turning point for England, similar to, Brandy taking her shirt off and this like just unleashing of I guess female empowerment. When I was over at Arsenal for a year and a half, it was really frustrating for me at sometimes just the way that football was seen over there for women, because it was like you had this huge infrastructure, you had the clubs behind it, the potential was like right there, and it just stunned me because coming from the US, it's so much newer in the US, right? But just the appreciation for women's football and like the respect, I guess, of women playing and doing their dream career, I guess, was just like way ahead in the US from when I was there. And so it frustrated me because I was like, everything's here to do this right, to do this successfully. So at that point, it was just like the societal like norms that were holding it back, or old school, thinking. And so that was incredibly frustrating for me. So I knew that by hosting this tournament, by doing, a great job on the pitch, that it was going to be absolutely incredible. So I think that it will be. I have huge hopes, and I'm really proud of them. Leah Williamson is the captain of the team, and she's somebody that I say she'll probably be the CEO of Arsenal Football Club one day. Like, she's that impressive. Even when I was over there with her, we roomed together. She was like 20 years old. I was 33 years old. And I would be asking her for like advice about stuff. And she was, she was like so wise and like cool. And so the future is bright over there. And again, I think if I can influence it over here, I think that I had some influence over at Arsenal when I would sort of stand up and just say, like, this is ridiculous. Like, for instance, like, why do the academy boys that are 17 years old, they get priority over our pitches and like, using facilities and stuff like that? And everybody would just be like, yeah, I don't know, that's just the way it is. And it's like, no, it doesn't have to be the way that it is. Like, we just have to kind of continue to change the way that we think. So listen, I'll be outspoken about some things here in Ireland, I'm sure, and just continue to give people hope and belief. But mostly that comes as a byproduct, Lex. We know that if you focus too much on that and don't get results on the field, it doesn't really matter. So I'm over here to compete, and we have some matches. They're actually in their season right now, so they have some left. We have 8 league games left in the season and a cup, and of course the big journey on August 18th. heading over to Slovenia. So we got to start from the bottom. We're like a minnow here. So we got to go to Slovenia and win a game, and then hopefully win another game. And then, if we can do that, then we're in the next group in September of Champions League matches where we would have 2 more matches. So it's like, you got to win to even make the main stage. So I think we can do it.
All right.
I'm excited.
All right. So listen. Two more questions before you go. Like I said, you got to go train, and you got your family, and you got an amazing experience that you have there. I can't let you go without talking about the U.S. Women's National Team. We are a year out from the World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. This is a team that's gone through a bunch of changes. Seeing what you're seeing, we just finished watching, Copa America, and we just watched obviously the Euros, and we're seeing all these teams, and definitely the evolution and the growth of a lot of these teams. How do you think that the U.S. Women's National Team right now under Vlatko Andonovski is positioned? And then I guess most importantly, how do you think they are going to do a year from now, given the continued growth of all of these other teams that are gunning and trying to stop the U.S. from getting that amazing three-peat, something that's never been done in men's or women's?
I think we have a good chance. I mean, listen, it's I think like every year we're number 1 in the world still. I think that's well deserved. Didn't give up many goals in qualifiers, and scored a lot. I know that it's just CONCACAF, as people will say, but it still takes a lot of focus to get that done. And what a relief it is to qualify for the World Cup and the Olympics. So that's something that's unique. That's never been done in like one tournament. So I think that just sort of alleviates one more cycle of kind of unnecessary matches and preparations and things like that, and you can just focus on the team and the talent. I think it is a transition time. I mean, there's no question Andonovski's trying to get the formula right of how many veterans, how many younger players. I mean, the future is bright. We have a huge player pool in the U.S. There's always going to be talent coming through. And so I like the looks of of Sophia Smith and Trinity Rodman. I think the future is really exciting. I also think that it will take some veteran leadership. So I love seeing Alex stepping up. I think that there'll be herself and a number of others, whether it's Megan, whether it's Press or Tobin, that will be sort of leading the charge. I think they have a really good chance. A three-peat would be incredible and never done before. So we'll see. We'll see in Australia.
All right. Last question. And this is a question that I ask a lot of people. And look, your knowledge and your value is in soccer. All right. Men's, women's, it really doesn't matter. Obviously, we've talked a lot about women's soccer here, and we've talked a lot about, what you're doing in Europe and what is happening around the world. When it comes to American soccer, and you've been around a long time, you've seen a lot of stuff on and off the field. What is something that you think American soccer needs to change? Either something that we are doing on or off the field that is either holding us back or hurting us when it comes to the continued evolution and growth of the game.
I mean, I'm sure that this could be a long and heated debate with somebody like yourself, Alexi, but I think at least having like a promotion relegation of a few levels, maybe even just 2 levels, could create a whole nother dynamic for the NWSL and maybe the MLS as well. I just think that it will sort of propel the game in the US in the eyes of other countries, which could only be good for investment, for players, for fan base to sort of live and breathe their teams. I think there is just no comparison to having to stay up or get relegated, get promoted. It's just it drives every single day of the league in a way that, in my opinion, playoffs is just not quite the same, of every single game being analyzed, being watched. Everybody's looking at the table all the time. I don't know. I just don't think that it's quite the same with playoff football. So that would be one thing. I think I would love to see some more soccer shows you guys put on, just yeah, just so it's ingrained in the culture. So, every weekend, you're seeing all the highlights and they're right in front of your face. So, general public just kind of knows more of the names, of the results, what's going on. It does have to pierce the culture a little bit more. That's what I would say.
You got work to do. You got much better things to do than sit here and talk to me. But thank you so much for talking to us here on the State of the Union. I wish you all the luck in the world in terms of what's happening on the field and your return to the game after 3 years, and off the field, because I know that this is going to be an incredible experience. And I just want to say this about you before we go. While on the surface there might be some that will look at this as just a glorified return to the game to just scratch an itch. I know from knowing you over the years that you are taking this seriously, that you are going to give everything of yourself, your body and mind to Shelbourne FC and to this league. And if there's anybody I think that I would want to have that box checked, it would be you, because I know how much the game means to you, and I know how much the experience in the game has meant to you as a player. And look, you got a long future away from the game ahead of you, and that your body still enables you to be able to go do that. Well done. Stay healthy, okay? Because we want to see you again. That moment when she gets to check that box will come here in a few weeks. August 18th, Shelbourne versus a team from Slovenia called, oh my goodness, Porucha. that's how I'm pronouncing it. You'll figure it out when you get there. But best of luck there. Be safe. And come back safe, and come back with all of these incredible experiences that you are going to have. The great Heather O'Reilly, ladies and gentlemen. Anything to say before we leave, Heather? That's it. That's all. You don't need to say anything. You look great. Oh, my goodness.
Love you, Lex.
I love you too. I love you too. My best to everyone over there. Thank you for tuning in to this special State of the Union podcast with Heather O'Reilly. Follow her on the social media platforms out there and anywhere else, because she's an amazing woman doing amazing things for the game. Not just the women's game, but for the game out there. And that's what we need on a consistent basis. All right. Same time, same place next week. And as always, size the day. You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops every week. Subscribe now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.